The government's seasonal influenza vaccination school outreach program will begin in around 2 weeks. Currently, 23 schools are not participating in the outreach program. Celine Chan has more.
There are signs that local influenza activity is seeing an upward turn. The Center for Health Protection said at the end of last month that influenza levels slightly exceeded the baseline threshold, and they will further assess whether the summer flu season has begun. This year, the authorities will continue to implement the school outreach vaccination program. So far, 23 schools indicated they will not participate. The department will follow last year's practice by uploading the list of non-participating schools to its website. Some parents believe it would be more convenient if vaccinations could be administered at school. Mrs. Wong said there were previous occasions that she couldn't find any vaccines during the peak flu season, which created a headache for her as the school required vaccination. It took her a long time to get a vaccine, and she would be happy if the school could provide it. Ms. Chan said it would be more convenient to get vaccinated at school, as parents would not need to schedule appointments outside or search around. All schools participating in the program can now choose between injectable or nasal spray vaccines. A primary school principal said the current vaccination rate at the school exceeds 80%, adding this new measure will further increase the vaccination rate among students.
I think not just students, maybe adults are afraid of the injection because they will feel painful. So if we have one more method to get the vaccination, so I think the nasal spray vaccination is one of the good methods to solve those problems about they are frightened about the injection.
This year, the government has procured new influenza vaccines, including recombinant vaccines and the Sinovac inactivated vaccine. The Center for Health Protection noted that different vaccines are suitable for different people, adding the inactivated vaccine has been used for many years and is safe for many age groups. Celine Chan, TVB News.
Organizers of the International Hot Air Balloon Festival held at the Central Harbourfront is now accepting refund requests. Celine Chan again.
The International Hot Air Balloon Festival was held at the Central Harbourfront over 4 days from last Thursday. The event had promoted tethered hot air balloon rides, allowing visitors to ascend in a balloon. But the activity was cancelled because it did not obtain the relevant government license for safety reasons, which left many visitors disappointed. Refunds are now available for all 5 types of tickets: sunrise tickets, sunset tickets, 2 sunset tickets, 3-day tickets, and 2-person tickets. Tickets must have been purchased through official channels including Hong Kong Ticketing, KKday, and Trip.com. From now until 10 p.m. on October 8th, refund applications can be submitted via email or by calling the hotline. Each applicant will need to provide their name, which matches bank account holder's name, bank account details, proof of purchase, the ticket transaction reference number, and a contact phone number. The organizer will begin processing all complete and accurate refund applications after the deadline for submissions. Refunds will be issued via bank transfer, faster payment system, or other mutually agreed upon methods by November 7th. However, any handling fees will not be covered. On the organizer's social media platform, some people left comments demanding clarification on whether refunds are available for the AIA balloon run tickets. But the organizer has announced that such cases are not entitled to a refund. This event charged between $480 and $980, and participants received a ticket for the Saturday sunrise session. Celine Chan, TVB News.
An electric vehicle belonging to CLP struck 2 pedestrians and 2 private cars in To Kwa Wan, resulting in 1 death and 4 injuries. Following the incident, the front of the electric vehicle was badly damaged. One of the private cars suffered severe damage to its front, with its rear crushed against a wall. A van nearby was also affected. There were bloodstains and scattered items at the scene. The accident happened at around 3:30 p.m. when the CLP electric vehicle entered the Ma Tau Wai estate parking lot. It hit 2 pedestrians before colliding with the private cars and the van. A woman who was struck was pronounced dead after emergency treatment at the hospital. Another pedestrian and 3 people from the electric vehicle sustained minor injuries and were sent to hospital. President Xi Jinping met with Portugal's Prime Minister Luís Montenegro in Beijing today. She praised the friendly relationship between China and Portugal, noting that the Iberian country was the first Western European country to sign a Belt and Road cooperation document and the first Eurozone member to issue renminbi-denominated bonds. She also said China and the European Union should enhance communication and deepen cooperation as the global situation grows more complex. Montenegro called on China to play a great role building bridges in resolving global conflicts. The Portuguese leader's visit came as Portugal and China mark the 20th anniversary of their comprehensive strategic partnership. The U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for federal agents to conduct sweeping immigration operations for now in Los Angeles. This is the latest victory for U.S. President Donald Trump's administration at the High Court. Meanwhile, Trump said he intends to send the National Guard and an influx of immigration agents to Chicago. Daniel Rell tells us more.
The U.S. Supreme Court's conservative majority lifted a restraining order from a lower court judge who had found that roving patrols were conducting indiscriminate stops in and around Los Angeles. The order had barred immigration agents from stopping people solely based on their race, language, job, or location. The court's 6-3 decision against the order followed a pattern of at least temporarily allowing some of the Republican administration's harshest policies, while leaving room for the possibility of a different outcome after the legal case plays out fully. Justice Brett Kavanaugh suggested the lower court judge had gone too far in restricting how immigration and customs enforcement agents can carry out brief stops for questioning. He wrote the prospect of such after-the-fact judicial second-guessing and contempt proceedings will inevitably chill lawful immigration enforcement actions. In a stinging dissent joined by her 2 liberal colleagues, Justice Sonia Sotomayor said many stops had not been brief or easy. She wrote, countless people in the Los Angeles area have been grabbed, thrown to the ground and handcuffed, simply because of their looks, their accents and the fact they make a living by doing manual labor. She added the court will now needlessly subject countless more to these exact same indignities. Kavanaugh, for his part, suggested stops in which agents use force could yet face legal challenges. Meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced the start of a new immigration operation in Chicago called Operation Midway Blitz. U.S. President Trump said he intends to send the National Guard and an influx of immigration agents to Chicago, but it's unclear what role the new operation will play in his plans.
When you try and reason with people like in Chicago with the governor and the mayor, you try and reason with them, and it's like you're talking to a wall. We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
Details about the expected intervention have been sparse. Trump's border czar Tom Homan told CNN on Sunday federal law enforcement action will come to Chicago this week. Dan Rell, TV News.
Nepal's government lifted a ban on social media platforms a day after violent street protests that left at least 19 people dead and 145 wounded. 7 of those killed and scores of wounded were received at the National Trauma Center, the country's main hospital in the capital, Kathmandu. According to doctors at the hospital, many of those injured had chest or head wounds and some were hurt in the legs. Rallies swept the street around Parliament Building on Monday, which was surrounded by tens of thousands of people protesting against a government attempt to regulate social media by blocking major platforms. The situation remained tense. The Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak resigned late Monday at an emergency cabinet meeting. And Thailand's Supreme Court ruled billionaire Thaksin Shinawatra must serve 1 year in jail because his detention in a VIP wing of a hospital in lieu of prison was unlawful. The 5-judge bench said the responsibility for Thaksin's lengthy stay in hospital didn't solely lie with the doctors and that the former prime minister intentionally prolonged his hospital stay. On his return from 15 years of self-imposed exile in 2023, Thaksin spent only a few hours in prison before being transferred to hospital, complaining of heart trouble and chest pain, prompting widespread skepticism. The 76-year-old is experiencing a period of political reckoning after his daughter, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, was sacked as prime minister by a court 11 days ago. Secretary for Housing Winnie Ho said authorities could have been more sensitive when handling specific groups of public housing tenants facing eviction. This came after a mother and son who suffer from mental illness committed suicide after being evicted from their public housing unit. The family did not declare their assets when applying for public housing many years ago. Mimmo Singai reports.
The mother and son were ordered to leave a public rental housing unit in Tin Shui Wai last November after being accused of not fully declaring their assets when applying for the flat 13 years ago. The two filed an appeal. During the appeal process, which was handled by the Housing Department's appeal panel, Castle Peak Hospital issued a certificate recommending the family to be allowed to stay in the flat. But the pair lost the appeal. The mother and son committed suicide afterwards. In response to the tragedy, Secretary for Housing Winnie Ho said the mother and son did not declare that they owned 2 plots of land with an estimated value of about $700,000, exceeding the limit for applying for public housing. Ho said the Housing Department had emphasized to the pair that their eviction was being suspended while an application for transition housing was made. Ho, however, agreed that the department's frontline staff could make improvement on their communication methods. Most members of the appeal panel have a legal background. The Housing Secretary said medical professionals could be added to the team to handle future eviction cases. Speaking of the overall appeal situation so far this year, Ho said nearly 40% of the notice to quit cases were amended and overturned in the first 7 months of the year, reflecting the fairness of the appeal system. Numbers 9, TVB News.
Some online businesses have been found to be selling fake student IDs of Hong Kong's universities on mainland shopping platforms. On Pinduoduo, some shops claim customers can buy customized student cards for Hong Kong's universities. To obtain one, individuals need only provide personal information and upload a picture. They can then select which university and which course they wish to enroll in. Each fabricated card costs about 40 yuan. On a business review section, some customers said the product had high authenticity. In response to TVB News' inquiry, the University of Hong Kong says it's aware of the activities and will seek legal advice and take action if necessary. And that's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.